Hello everyone, welcome to Marlin Chess Kids. Today I will show you the game by Vladislav and Syed Mahfuzur. And this beautiful game complete in just only 14 moves with a very brilliant sacrifice. So let's see how the game starts. The game starts with the pawn to e4. Then the black reply with c5. And here you have the Sicilian. Then the game continue with the knight to f3 and d6 was played. After this, bishop to b5 and just trying to give a simple check and allow the king to go for a short castle. So after this, knight d7 was played, and the better move would be knight to c6, and this allowed the bishop to be active and move around. So after this, the white just go for a short castling, and now a6 was played. And here you cannot move the bishop to a4, and if you move the bishop to a4, the black will be winning the bishop. For example, after b5, your bishop moves to b3, then c4, and the bishop will be trapped. So at this move, if you just cannot move your bishop, you can just capture the pawn, and the pawn will just capture it back, and this will give black a clearly better position. So therefore, after a6, you have to move your bishop away. For example, in this game, the white moved the bishop to d3. So after this, the knight g to f6 keep on develop a piece, and this is a first 5 move, and you can see that the white is slightly better in this position. And the game continue with the rook to e1, trying to give pressure on the e file and the center of the board. Then b5 was played, and now the white just moved c4, preventing the black pawn to push the c4. After this, bishop b7 was played. Another suggestion for the black would be playing a knight to e5, and this will give the bishop to active again to go to d7 and protect the pawn at b5. So for example, if you use the knight to capture, the pawn will capture, and after the pawn capture, this allowed the queen to direct attack the bishop, and now the bishop need to run away. And if you capture the pawn with c takes b5, then the white will be losing a bishop, for example, and this the black is clearly winning. So therefore, after capture, the bishop just move away to e2 and maintaining the attack diagonal. So here the bishop now can go to d7, and if you capture the pawn, then the a pawn will capture, and this you give black a strong pawn in the center, and much better the position will be equal in this game. So instead, in the actual game, the black play bishop to b7, and with this, the black is losing a pawn, as there is a double pawn and the bishop attacking the b5 pawn. So after the bishop develop, then the pawn can just capture the b5 pawn. So after a takes b5 and bishop takes b5, and the white is winning a pawn in the exchange. So after this, the knight just capture the e4 pawn, and after capture, then the knight to c3, attacking the knight, and once the knight move away, you have a very strong rook attacking the king and pinning it. So in the actual game, the knight just captured the knight, and here you can see that the white is clearly better, and you can see that it's nearly 1.5 point positive, and white is able to win back a pawn. So after this, the d takes the knight, and now the rook is pinning the king, and the pawn here is unprotected. The pawn d6 is unprotected, and now the black must prevent the pawn being captured. So in the actual game, e6 was played, and you use the bishop to protect the pawn, and now the white continue to attack with the knight, and this is a strong move with the idea of strongly threatening queen to g4, and you have a multiple attack on the pawn at e6, and at this position the black has a very difficulties to protect the pawn. So after this move, the queen moved to c7, and you can see it's a red color. Is a very tactical blunder for the black, and with this the white is winning a piece ahead with nearly 4 plus. So let's say after this move, the white can continue play a brilliant move with the queen to g4 and attacking the pawn. So the best way to prevent or can keep the game go on will be a queen to f6, and this will keep the game keep fighting. And after this, a4 can be played, then you can bring bishop to e7. Now this position on the e file will be solid, and after this the black can go for a castling. So queen c7 was played, and now the queen goes to g4, and you have a multiple attack on the e6, and also the bishop is pinning the knight. So after this move, the black play h5, and after the move h5, now the white made one very nice move, and the black resigned the game. I give a couple of seconds to figure out how the white will play in this game and win the game. Well, congratulations for those who found the answer, and for those who like to enjoy the show, the beautiful move that the white play, and this will win the game. Here in this position, the black is moving a pawn to attack the queen, and instead of moving away the queen, the white just move a brilliant move by using the knight to capture the pawn. And here you can have a capture the queen and fork the king and rook with the idea of open check the king. For example, in the actual game, after the knight capture the pawn, then the black resign the game and the game, such as if you use the queen, then the white can just mate in 2. After knight takes the queen, if the knight takes the queen, then the black is just clearly winning the game only, and later you just take. If the king just move to d8, then you capture the rook, then the bishop will just capture, and at this move you only be white is clearly winning after the action. But in this position, if you make the different check, such as knight also can capture the pawn at g7 and check the king with an open check. So the knight will capture, and here you have the open check, and the knight also check the king. Here you have the double check. So with the double check, the king cannot use a piece to protect, and with double check, the king need to move the king. So the only way to move the king is only king to d8, and after this you have the rook to e8, and this will be the simple back rank checkmate. So back to this position, the better move to prevent this thing happen would be bishop to e7, and after this the knight can just play a brilliant sacrifice by capturing the pawn, and with the idea to attack the queen and also for the king and rook. So after this move, if you use the pawn to capture, then the rook will continue capture and you give a pin, and this bishop cannot move, and the next move you can just bring your bishop to attack the bishop that is being pinned. So after this, if you move long castling, then the rook will just capture the bishop. Let the bishop to c6 for the action. The bishop just capture and this capture, and after this action, the white can just continue to attack the pawn, and also you can bring the rook to continue attack, and the white is clearly winning in this position, and the queen also can capture the pawn, and you have the multiple attack. And at this position, the black also have lost 2 pawns, and then at this position also, instead of castling, if you move the queen to protect it, then this will be very difficult for the black to play, as the queen will just capture the pawn and keep on attack the rook. So if your rook move to f8, then the bishop will go to h6, and here after capture can capture the rook as well, and also bring another rook to the action and attack the bishop. So for example, if you make a move such as a rook to c8, then the queen will just capture the rook and it will be a checkmate, as the knight cannot capture the queen as it's being pinned by the bishop, and the bishop cannot capture the queen and it's being pinned by the rook. So you have a very beautiful idea here to checkmate the king. And if you move back the rook to behind to give a free rook, if you capture the rook, then the king can escape to f7. So if here you can just capture the bishop, then the queen capture, and you can just use the queen to g7 to continue check, and it will be winning. So after this, if you move the king to e8, then the queen continue to g8 check, and now there's nothing the king can do. You just block with the queen, then the queen takes the queen at f8, and it will be a checkmate again. And back to this position. So after this move, you can capture the rook, or you don't capture, you just can continue move the bishop, and now you have a multiple attack at the bishop at e7. So here nothing much the black can do, and the other way, if you want to just delay the checkmate, you just capture the pawn, and after capture the pawn, you just have the rook capture the bishop. And now after rook capture, you have a very simple queen takes queen checkmate at just move 20. So the overall of this game is the brilliant move here is using the knight to take the pawn at move 14. And after this move 14, the black resign the game. And you can see this is a very beautiful attack from the white. And with this, thank you.